Don't build an AI agent until you watch this. Most AI agents fail. Not because the tech is broken, but because people are building them for the wrong reason. In this video, I will show you exactly when to create an agent and when not to, and the process I use to build agents that actually work. When should not you think about to build an agent? Number 1, about one should task. If a task can be solved with a single API call, or a simple prompt, or just a paragraph of prompt, it's not a job for agent. I've seen people build entire agents to just generate article titles, or to select top 3 image concept based on the brand guideline. But let me be blunt. These are one-shot tasks. Building a full agent for this kind of task is like to strapping a rocket boost to a bicycle. It looks cool, but it's totally overkill. Never build an agent just because you can. Number 2, multiple step task not equal to agent task. Just because a task have multiple steps doesn't mean it need a conversational agent or AI agent. Take an structured employee expense reimbursement app, for example. If the input requirement is fairly strict and structured, they request for ID, date, type, amount, receipt from website input. And the process is linear and clear. First, you need to validate the field. Second, you will check the policy limit. Third, you will post to an ERP system. Then you will send the confirmation to the person who registered. And this is the deterministic workflow. It's good for RPA. There are no back and forth. There are no midstream correction. It's run the same way every time. A workflow engine can handle it easily. You don't need a chat. You don't need memory or tool or orchestration. So the rule of thumb, if a user doesn't need to participate in middle process, and the AI doesn't need to make decision according to different situation, you probably didn't need an agent. You just need a prompt or a process. Then, when you do need an agent, let me tell you a story. I tried Canva's one-click visual effect feature, expecting perfect result a lot of time. I assumed I could press a button and get the perfect animation. But reality disagreed. Sometimes the style was off. Sometimes the pacing was wrong. Sometimes I just wanted to tweak one tiny neat detail, and I can't talk to AI and just change that. This wasn't a right or wrong problem anymore. It was about taste, aesthetics, and iteration. If you try to solve this with bottom alone, your UI will be exploited. And you will need at the bottom for change style, endless style options, change color, huge amount of color options, change template, not even sure what to start, and adjust timing. You end up with a panel of full of switch, but still may not work. This is where agents shine. This isn't a bottom problem, it's a conversational problem. Now, you truly need a conversational agent. First, human must stay in the loop to give reference, taste, correction, or direction. 2, feature options would otherwise exploit the front end or unpredictable. 3, the AI need to proactively use the tool to make things done, like search on live web or execute the code, or to find the answer isn't already there. At that point, a chat-based agent becomes the most scalable interface. The second preferred case will be the bookkeeping agent for gathering different receipts online or from your photo picture that match the receipts with your bank statement and log everything into a Google Sheet or database. And it suggests you about the next month's spending plan. Why? First, different companies have different formatting of receipts. The AI agent need to have their autonomy to scraping different format, but still grab the essential information you need. Second, you want your agent search for web, download receipt, looking for bank, put your record in Google Sheet, and give you suggestion. And those are outside tools which your agent need to use. Third, you will be the one to review and for you to see where is the wrong and right. So the consequence will be limited. So I give you two examples about the agent. One is conversational based, the other one is process driven. But both of them are really good example for start to use AI agent. Now you may ask, how to actually build an agent that works? This video I was talking about for personal use. This is not for the productionized or scalable AI agent or AI agent team. First principle is do not try to build a perfect system on day one, which means first, start with the boring solution. Choose a simple tool or framework that is fast to run and easy to test. Running an imperfect agent today is better than designing a perfect one that never launched. Second, establish a baseline. Run a test in the simplest way possible. One prompt, no extra bells and whistles to see if the AI can even solve the core problem you have. If the core doesn't work, no amount of tool or memory will save you. Third, add the constraints incrementally. Don't start with a 10-page manually of rule. It's run out of token. And start with a short prompt. Observe what the AI does naturally and add rules and examples when it makes a mistake. 4. Add the tools when the prompts fail. If the AI fails, because it lacks of access to up-to-date information, like if I want the AI to find out the fashion trends in 2026 from Paris runway show, naturally they will not have the local storage about that. They have to use web search to find out the information and to validate the information and put together the information in the best way. Then bring in the tool like first, web search, get the relevant information online. Second, visual retrieval to turn a fashion-specific image or picture to text. Third, internal knowledge base like my own collection and pattern tagging rules from the company, and then to show in a customer dashboard and mood board perspective. Then they will need to have a dashboard or mood board generator. Now, some magic will happen. The agent start to chain all the two together and the capability emerged that I never explicitly program. This is the real agent behavior. 5. Use memory for stability. If you need the agent to remember specific files or long piece of code, use external memory rather than internal, which means the agent can refer in a file instead of trying to copy and paste the message passing through via each other, which is expensive and unreliable. So here are the 5 principles for building an agent really work. First, start with a boring solution. Second, establish a baseline. Third, add a constraint incrementally. Fourth, add tools when prompts fail. 5. Use memory for stability. Is that simple? Yes. In the next section, I will show you my lessons learned in more detail, why we have those principles at the first place. Lesson number 1, the legendary prompt myth. We've all seen this. Those perfect prompts being shared online like a cheat code. Just copy and paste and boom. Instant AI magic, right? Not quite. Like most people, I've spent an hour on YouTube collecting prompts from strategy to research to app building. I even built a personal prompt database in my Notion and update regularly. I love good prompt. But here is the hot truth. The same prompt rarely gives the same result. And it definitely doesn't guarantee the behavior you want from your AI agent. Why? 2 key reasons. First, language models are probabilistic, not deterministic. That means even when you feed them the exactly same input, the output can vary. Sometimes it's better, sometimes it's worse. But it's never guaranteed to be the identical. That legendary prompt you copied, it might fall flat when you try it. It's not your fault. It's just how the system works. Second, more structure not equal to more control. Here are most people get tripped up. In traditional software, most structure usually means more stability. But with AI, structured layer adds another layer of uncertainty. Stack too many of those, and your agent becomes harder, not easier to manage. Here is the real example. I once ran a simple research task using a short, focused prompt. It worked beautifully. Then I tried to replace it with a multi-page, ultra-detailed instruction set I found online, supposedly a best practice. The result? No improvement in quality. Token usage exploded, and the response time slowed to a crawl. Bottom line, copy someone else's prompt won't turn your AI into their agent. So what should you do instead? Stop chasing the perfect prompts. Build a system that learns and adapts. Don't expect your prompt to work perfectly the first time. Iteration beats imitation. Start with the core problem you are solving and apply minimal constraint. Observe how your model agent behaves naturally, then adjust as needed. Use examples instead of rules. Show, don't tell. If your agent can follow your incremental instruction, your system prompt is good enough. Keep it direct, simple, and clear. This is how you move from being a passive prompt copier to a true AI operator. Lesson number 2, the elegant architecture trap. Don't fall into the trap of thinking that copy a perfect architect will give you a perfect system, or your agent performance will automatically improve with complexity. I recently spent days building a research-focused AI agent. Along the way, I came across 2 brilliant articles from Anthropic Agent Design. Inspired. So I decided to put those suggestions and learning into practical copy. I upgrade my architecture, refine my system prompt, add context isolation, build memory, designed what looked like an elegant industry-grade agent system. And the result? Everything got worse. The same task now cost more token. Successful rate dropped. Failures become hard to debug. Some error didn't even make sense anymore. I remember staring at the system thinking, this shouldn't be happen. Am I really bad at this? That moment forced a painful realization. AI agent design is not a traditional software engineering in classical backend development. Start with a robust architecture is usually a safe bet. Plan your Docker constraint, service, pipelines, maybe slow down at first, but it scales. But AI agent are non-deterministic system. When you stack complexity on top of uncertainty, you are not adding structure, you are multiple chaos. Like many of you, I wanted to follow expert. I assumed this is a complex problem, so I need a complex system. That's what went wrong. There are 2 types of agent task chain. The first one called workflow chain, which run end-to-end like a traditional process. The second one is called conversational chains, in short, interrupt and segment with feedback loop. Most agents don't need to execute 20 steps in one uninterrupted run. They can pause, confirm, adjust. The meaning, you usually don't give heavyweight orchestration at the start. So here how it works. Start simple. Don't aim for architecture elegance on day 1. Focus on core problem can the model solve it at all. Choose the path with the highest chance of working, which you know, even if it's ugly. Skip the advanced framework if you don't understand. Establish a baseline that involves. Remember, running something imperfect beats design something perfect that never runs. Lesson number 3. Context collapse is real, and context engineering matters. Have you experienced this scenario? At first, your agent worked well, and then slightly over time, it gets slower, and the performance steadily declined. Then we kept adding things we thought would help. More instruction, more tools, more format, more history, or more just-in-case information. It felt like progress, but the situation not improved. The context collapse. That's what happened when too much information, instruction, and signal mix together, and your AI agent no longer knows what matters the most, which rule apply, and what success looks like. Just like a human employee with 10 managers give conflict direction, the agent gets overwhelmed. Attention gets diluted, accuracy drop, output become inconsistent. It is not model getting worse. It is context. It's context mirroring shines. 2 practical tactics: context isolation and dynamic loading. They are sounds complex, but bear with me. You do not need to execute anything complicated, but design an information system for your agents. First, context isolation means giving AI only the information it needs for the job at hand. Nothing more, nothing less. So it can perform reliably, safely, and clearly, just like manage a team. You don't mix legal review, creative writing, and customer support in one meeting. Each role gets its own focus and rules. Same logic apply here. Split your task into separate agent or session based on functionality. Define one clear goal per agent. Remove related information and reset context between jobs. Second, dynamic loading means give the AI information only when it becomes relevant instead of give everything upfront. Dynamic loading is about timing, not technology. It's prevent overload and improve clarity. Think of a business trip. You don't carry your entire wardrobe. Bring every document you own. Pack for every possible scenario. Instead, you bring what you need for the trip and add or request more only if plans changes. Same with agent. Practical tips. Store project brand information externally. Have a folder structure with a clear index. Define clear rule in skills and agent markdown file when information needed to be loaded. Sometimes it is better for one conversation only to solve one bug. In that way, you were able to reduce the token consumption, have agent focus sharp, improve execution, reaction time, and accuracy. Remember, more context doesn't mean better performance. Better context does. Clear, focus, timing, that's make agent work. Lesson number 4. Agent memory is about visibility, not storage. Most people think AI memory is just a digital filing cabinet. Store everything, remember everything forever. In practice, agents don't have one memory, they have different types of memory, serving different purpose. To keep it simple, think in 2 categories. Internal memory, this to be used inside within a single run or conversation, like working memory or messaging passing from one agent to another. This message is disposable. Once task or conversation end, it's gone. While the external memory is a long-term. It holds information that must remain stable over time, like project background, policy, brand guidelines, reference document, like Markdown, PDF, code file, or anything you should stay consistent across agents and sessions. A good analogy is ChatGPT project. The system prompt and project file are long-term memory. Each individual chat is short-term memory. When you close the chat, the context disappears. Problems start when we mix them up. Another common mistake is assuming the agent can safely summarize and passing information forever. But it can't, because large language models are probabilistic. Every time information is summarized, rewritten, or passed along, it drifts. That's why examples often work better than rule for instructing AI. This connects directly to the previous point, context engineering. If something must remain unchanged, like legal text, source code, don't pass it through agent repeatedly. That's expensive and reliable. What you should do instead is decide what belongs in internal memory and what belongs to external memory. Keep long-term reference in storage, not in conversation. Keep reference or link, not raw text when precision matters. Let agent read from the same source of truth instead of passing information. Use example for behavior and rules boundary. Remember, AI agents don't have one memory. They have several very different ones. Confuse them and the performance will degrade. Design them intentionally and consistency improves. Lesson number 5. Always set midpoints for checking. Trust but verify. The most dangerous moment in AI development is when your agent finally works. It's running end-to-end, but then it gives you a perfect reasoned answer that is completely wrong. They can have technical correct. in their logic, but fail because they consumed bad data from a search engine and outdated API. That's just one of the examples. In business, that's risk you can't afford. If you're building AI system for real-world use, review isn't optional, it's required by design. 3 practical tips can help. First, insert review mechanism. Always treat external data as uncertainty. Mature systems use a second API call or a reasoning step to validate, summarize, and check the fact before the agent uses them in a final output. Second, use predefined skill for depth. If you need an agent to perform a long, methodic task, like a 20-page market analysis, don't let it improvise every step. Instead, give it predefined execute template or say skills. This provides discipline of traditional workflow with flexibility of an AI. Here is the video about agent skills. You may check it out. 3. Logging is functional. Once your agent stack or system gets complicated, debugging output is useless. You must log every step, every tool call, token usage, context actually consumed. Only by replaying execution trees, you can improve speed, cost, success rate. The bottom line, if you want your agent to be trustworthy, build in checkpoint. Don't just test the final result once, test how it got there. So those are the 5 lessons I wish every business leader knew before building AI agents and the AI agent system. Prompts alone won't save you. Elegant architecture can actually make things worse. Context and memory need to be designed, not dumped in. And trust but verify is not a nice to have, but the core to reliability. Now you know, great AI agents aren't built by copy prompts or stacking fancy architecture. The Anthropic articles are great and practical, but those were written based on the end of the journey, not the beginning. They are like beautiful graduation blueprint, perfect once you've already fall into every pit along the way. Building an AI agent is less like building a factory, but more like hiring and training a new intern. Stop treating agents like magic. They are built with clarity, iteration, and system thinking. Design them, test them, evolve them. If this video inspired you, hit the like button and share it. If you want deeper framework or team training on building effective AI system in your organization, subscribe for more. Let's go further together. Drop a comment below which lessons hit hardest or what's you're struggling with your agent builds. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.